Here in spirit. Hey everyone, Brent here, Coaches on the Couch, episode 3. Riding solo this week. Sydney is out sick. Hope she gets better soon. But yeah, just me today to take us through kind of our little bit of a deeper dive into the Linfield meet. Hopefully be better than just regurgitating stats. I feel like that's what I did last week, but maybe can kind of give more of my thoughts on where we're at. Coming out of that meet as well as heading into the Tacoma meets this next weekend. So yeah, we'll just jump right in. We'll start with the men's meet. The men swam really, really well against Linfield. Ultimately came away with a very, very close loss, 6-point loss, which is the closest since I've been here. I started back in 2015. It's probably the closest we've been in quite a long time to Linfield. And I mean, we haven't been single digits with them since I've been here. So that was really nice to be that close. You know, we actually led going into the final relay, but they put 2 relays up and we only had 1, and we had to win that relay, which unfortunately didn't happen for us. But you know, it's okay. They still swam great, and I was really excited about where we were at with that. You know, comparing to the previous week against SWAC, I think we swam really, really well. Some people were a little bit, slower, but at the end of the day, I don't want to get too caught up on that. I want to focus on, like, did they execute well? Did they race hard? Because those are the steps that we need to take ultimately to head into Bruin into a couple weeks, and then ultimately toward conference. And so, yeah, I thought they did really well. Strokes were looking good. You know, we still haven't swam 200s yet, so it's still kind of short distances, which we're really good at. But I also think hurts us a little bit in that the fact that we haven't gotten to see our full 200 strokes go or a 200 IM yet. And so, yeah, so we'll see how that goes. Kind of the notes here, just some call outs. Big shouts to Jan with the double and the 500 in the mile. With that win, kind of pulled away around the 1,000 mark in the mile, and pretty dominant win. And the 5 kind of jumped out from the gun and led that kind of end to end. Try 400 IM, 100 breast, double winner. Breaststroke looked really good, a little bit faster from the previous week, which is good. Good early season 400 IM time. So I think he's doing the right things there. To follow up with his breaststroke training partner, Kyle Lapa got second, leading to that 1-2 in the 100 breast, which is always exciting. And then Kyle Lapa got third in the 50 free. He originally came in as a sprinter and has since developed into a breaststroker for us, but it's good to get him back into the 50 free when we can at meets and really let him shine at an event he's pretty good at. Kevin won that 50 free. Big shouts to Kevin with that, kind of a very close win. And then in the 100 came in second, kind of running the Linfield guy down toward the end, just kind of ran out of pool space there. What we got? Again, I kind of mentioned Kalaba. And then big shouts to Colin, doing kind of the triple threat, as we'll call it, the mile, the 400 IM, and the 500. Probably won't have Colin doing that every single week, but it just fell for what we needed this time. So again, big shouts to him, and swam really well. I know he wasn't entirely happy with how he did it, but that's a hard lineup, especially in a 2-hour meet. So good job there, Colin. Overall, the men, I think, are in a really good place. I think what we'll need to continue to work on as we head for next weekend is just what our 200 looks like. Yeah, I know we've done a lot of training, 200 pace stuff, endurance work, but we won't really see where we're at until we hit the water in that competitive setting. And, we're going to do it against one of the top teams in PLU. So I'm excited because I think it'll be some really good racing, but I'm also a little cautious just because sometimes the first 200s can be nerve-wracking here and there, but we got to do it because we're going to swim at Bruin the following week after, and so we only get one shot at our 2s, and that's not to put pressure on the men or the women, but it's to say, like, you've got this one shot, I need you to take advantage of it, right? And just making sure, like, don't get caught up in the time, but focus instead on executing your race strategy, trying to hit pace, and ultimately racing, because that's what they need to do at the end of the day. Moving on to the women's meet, the women, like the men, also came out with the loss. Women's was a little bit of a wider spread on the score, 86 to 118. Although, if you flip the relays, which we almost ran down the medley, flip that, they pretty handily won the 200 free relay, but that's 11 points there. Let's say the relay was maybe a little bit more competitive. Maybe we could have flipped it there. That's not to take nothing away from Linfield. They swam really well. It's still a very talented team, but I think it was closer than the score reflects, we tell the team that all the time. In our sport, the dual meet scoring system really favors event winners, and if you've got a team that has event winners, even if they don't have depth, like they're going to run away with the meet just because it's such a difference of points between first and second and third. And then when you face a team that does have depth, right, that's when the scores really inflate against you. But yeah, I thought we swam really well. So I don't get caught up in the score. Again, what did we do in the pool is way more important. Speaking of that, Jillian, double winner, 100, 200 free, going faster in the 2 free than she did the week before, which is great. I talked to her. I was like, do you want to break 2 minutes? And she was like, yeah, why not? Let's do it in a duel. And that was great because I know that was her midseason goal last year. And so if we can get her to break 2 in a duel, I think that will show that we're really on a good progress for her as we look toward the future in conference. Leah won the 100 back, came in second in the 50 free. This was Leah's first competition. She was out in our first meet. And so it was great to have her back, added some sprint depth, some backstroke sprint depth as well. And yeah, just good to see her racing. And I think there's a few things we can clean up from her sprinting, making sure she's just not shortchanging her stroke, and making sure she's getting a lot of length out of her reach as she pulls the water. Tessa, second in the 100 fly, second in the 400 IM. Tess had a good meet as well. Good early season 400 IM. It's always hard to judge how those are going to go, and I thought she looked really strong. Got a little bit of work to do with her backstroke. She knows that, but I was really excited with kind of the rest of her for her 400 IM. Elisa kind of second in the mile, third in the 500, and then Emma Knopfsinger second in the 5 and third in the 50, showing some freestyle range there from Emma. And Elisa, I think had some good results, putting in a lot of good work lately with that distance crew. Very much like the men, I was really excited to see how the women did this last week. I think overall we are on a good trajectory with our teams. I think they've really bought into understanding that dual meets are, yes, first and foremost about racing, but also about taking that opportunity to get feedback on themselves and where they're at, right? And not letting a one-time metric, aka the time, really dictate all the work they put in previously that week, right? Something we've been talking about a lot this year is you are more than a one-time thing, right? You're more than a single event. A bad practice, or what you perceive as a bad practice, doesn't invalidate the good work you did before, and it doesn't stop all the good work you can do after. It's the same way with meets, right? Having a quote-unquote bad swim doesn't mean you can't bounce back and have a quote-unquote good swim, right? It's all about how you frame the results, right? Times are indifferent. It's our feelings attached to those times that's way more important. And so talking about like, hey, like, you can be frustrated with a time, absolutely, but don't then spiral that into somehow that time is predictive or that time is value-based or anything like that. Again, like the time is the time. Your reaction to it is what dictates the good or bad. And what we really want to do is move forward. Like, did we learn? What did we learn from that? Even if we win, what did we learn, right? If we didn't win, we came in second, third, fourth, what did we win? And I think that'd be good. So where we're at this week, we're off this week. Also, again, I said I wanted to do this earlier. It's Thursday. It's not earlier. But this week we've been training a lot. We don't compete this weekend unlike the rest of the conference. So a good week for us to train. They've been looking good in the water, looking strong. We are going to do a little bit more of a technique-focused recovery today. I just think, it's the beginning of November. We're starting to get a little fatigue, but it's also more of a good check-in. Like, hey, we're going to focus on these aspects of our strokes and put some really dedicated effort into it today. Tomorrow, kind of back to normal schedule. And then Saturday, we'll probably go off the blocks with some longer, maybe even 200s, just to, again, get a pseudo racing rep into us, since we're not going to get it next weekend but once. So that takes us into what's next is going to look like. We'll go normal Monday to Thursday, and then we'll be on the road Friday, Saturday up at Puget Sound and Pacific Lutheran on Friday, Puget Sound on Saturday. It'll be good to swim those teams. It's always good to see them. Obviously, Andrew, he's an alum. I got to coach him. I love seeing him. His team's looking really good on paper and really good in the water. Got to dig a little bit. They've swum some different formats, and so you kind of got to dig to look at the results. But they're going to be good, and they're going to be really good competition for us to again see where we're at against a school that I think will be a top 4 program when it's all said and done this year. And then against UPS, Jay's done a phenomenal job of bringing people in, and I'm excited to see where we stack up against a team that I think will be maybe second, maybe first on the men's side, and anywhere from second to third on the women's side. They're bringing back some people who were abroad last spring, so it'd be good to see where our women stack up again against these two teams that should be on the top half of the conference. I think all said and done, come conference time, or come conference championship time. So. Yeah, that's all I got this week. Again, I was really excited about how we did with Linfield. I think we're moving in the right direction. I'm excited for our meets against the Tacoma schools and then ultimately in Bruin the weekend after that. Next week we'll come back. I promise it'll be earlier just because we won't have the full week. But try to come back on Tuesday of next week to kind of talk about a preview, a little bit of a deeper preview into Pacific Lutheran and Puget Sound, and then even maybe a teaser of Bruin Invite. But anyway, thanks for sticking with us with me, I guess I should say, although Sydney's right there, don't forget. With this deeper dive into Linfield. Excited about where we're going. I know I've said that like 3 times now in the last minute, but yeah, I think it'll be good. Anyway, hope you all are doing well. Thanks for rocking with us, and we'll see you in the next one.